We're going to start with a few questions about new players coming in. We were just talking about Sam Coffey with the Portland Thorns. She's playing that 6th role, a rookie in the NWSL. We had a number of questions about this from Skeely Pug. What are the players on the cusp of entering the national team? Phallon Tullis-Joyce, Allie Watt, Sam Coffey. Also, Yumi Schultz asked about Carson Pickett, if she would ever be called into the USWNT hour. And also, Football We 1992 mentioned that it's the start of the season and there are some very good performances. Other considered for a USWNT call-up. So, Lori, I'm turning this over to you. I want to know your expertise. We already talked a little bit about Sam Coffey, but Tullis-Joyce, Allie Watt, Carson Pickett. Let me pick your brain. What do you got? Who's stepping up besides Sam Coffey? We can continue with her as well, though.
Yeah, I think it's a challenging one because, I think sometimes we think just because you have the NWSL and somebody's playing well that you should automatically be called up into a national team, right?
So I have a theme for this segment. Yeah. It's going to be called "Who Are They Outperforming?" Because I have a feeling we're going to hear that a lot.
Yeah, because I always say that because I think that there is a misconception that it's like terrible if you just do really well and you play really well in the NWSL, but you don't get called up. Like it is a completely different level. I mean, I always say this all the time, and it's just because you do compete well in the NWSL does not mean that you're going to always get called up to the national team because, again, it depends on needs. It depends on, the timing of year. Like this is a really challenging time.
Yeah.
Tullis-Joyce, who you mentioned, no doubt has been great this season, right? Is this the time to bring her in right when you're about to go into World Cup qualifying? No, I would say not, right? And you have the people that are in front of her, Alyssa Nair, Kingsbury, whoever, I can't even think.
Casey Murphy.
When she gets back, right? Those are 3 goalkeepers that I would currently put in front of Tullis-Joyce. It doesn't take anything away from Tullis-Joyce's performances by any means. She's kept OL Reign in some games that are have been really tight. So all the credit to her because I think she's been fantastic and exactly what you want from your starting keeper if you're the Reign. But that doesn't mean that you get called in, right? And another one I was going to tell you about prior to this segment, along with Coffey, I would say Elise Bennett. I thought she has been great, whether she's coming off the bench, whether she is starting, clearly has proven that she can do way more than be somebody that can affect the game getting in behind. She can hold up play, right? She's smooth with the ball. She has great size. And when she came on the game the other night, completely changed.
She changed everything. She changed everything in that match for Kansas City.
And her and Hamilton, there's an excellent connection, just like you would expect Hamilton. And we've seen Hamilton with Lynn Williams, right? So awesome. Do I think Elise Bennett is completely ready to go into the national team? No, because look at the people that are playing in front of her. Right? I mean, we just named Alex Morgan. You see Trinity Rodman, right? Kristen Press. Malpugh had been excellent up until she got injured. You still for sure put Sophia Smith in there, even though I think there's some opportunities that she should be finishing. That might sound harsh, but the amount of opportunities she creates for herself, she's got to find the back of the net, right? More often, in my opinion. But listen, so there you go. It is outrageously difficult to find yourself on the national team. And I think we have to be careful with just continuing to push that the national team is the end all be all. Yes, this is the national team hour. So awesome. But totally freaking great if you're amazing in the NWSL and you sometimes you're not going to get a call up. I always say that in the men's game all the time. Right?
Yeah, it's incredibly true. I love that you mentioned Elise Bennett. This is a rookie that probably wasn't expecting to get as much time with Kansas City as she has been given because of Lynn Williams playing in front of her. Lynn Williams, unfortunately, goes down with an injury and she's out for the rest of the year. So Matt Potter for the Current is calling on Elise Bennett and seamlessly transition into these games that she's been playing and a true game changer for Kansas City. I agree. She's not quite there yet, competing alongside Trinity Rodman, Sanchez, Hatch, Macario up top. It's a different style. Maybe next year, right? She's just a rookie in the NWSL, but we know that Vlatko Andonovski is watching these players and watching these teams. Someone else I want to ask you about, Carson Pickett, defender for North Carolina Courage, just won the Challenge Cup with the Courage. She did play on youth U.S. teams, U17, and most recently U23, but that was in 2015. She's 28 years old, but a lot of experience in the league and does a great job getting into the attack. What are your thoughts on her, or is the lineup just a bit too much in front of her at outside back?
Yeah, no, I think that's also goes to the point that, like, it really just depends on what the coach is looking for, right? And unfortunately, sometimes they decide that they're going to like a player over another. Is that's what it comes down to, right? Because I do think, Carson Pickett has been an interesting one. I like her a lot. I know Sean Nahas, North Carolina Courage coach, has been kind of vocal about hoping that she gets called in because he considers her the best left back. I mean, she's a true lefty, right? Something that we don't typically see. And, what I thought was interesting is at least in the April call-ups that she didn't get a call-up. We saw Imani Dorsey, right, get called in, who's a left back for Gotham, but then they didn't even dress Imani for either of the games. And so in my opinion, and that's just how it goes sometimes, right?
And Imani's also dealing with a little bit of an injury.
Yeah. So, and Carson just came off of one as well.
Right.
But however, I think when you look at the stats solely for North Carolina and how much Carson Pickett affects their game in the attack, I think there is some real promise that we've seen consistently for a few years now.
Yeah.
Right? This isn't just like, real promise in this year's Challenge Cup. Like, this has been ongoing. So I am a bit surprised, but I do think at that point in time, it does depend on, okay, listen, what is the coach actually looking for? And that Lacko has been vocal about Fox. Sorry, I was like,
okay. There's a number of outside backs. I mean, Emily Fox, Sophia Huerta has been tremendous. You still have Kelly O'Hara that's thrown into that mix. Margaret Purse.
Yeah.
Margaret Purse.
Yeah. I mean, Crystal Dunn is about to have that baby anytime. And then she's been also
one. It'll be 2 weeks and she'll be back on the pitch because she hasn't left it yet.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So listen, there's, and I think that is certainly in Vlatko's mind, right? Like, I don't know all the decisions, but I understand how decisions work at that level for the most part. And, I can't tell you exactly why he hasn't brought Carson in, especially into like maybe one of the earlier ones. Now I think it starts to get a little bit difficult.
Right.
Maybe not. Maybe for these June camps, Carson will get called in, especially with how well North Carolina Courage did in this Challenge Cup, and Carson Pickett was a big part of that.
Yeah.
However, I think he has said, like, right now, Crystal Dunn was the starting left back, difficult to get her off the field. She becomes pregnant. Emily Fox, difficult to get her off the field, right? He has been like, listen, this is my go-to left back. Seems to really love the way that she plays. And here we are. So I don't know.
Yeah, there's still a lot of depth at that outside back position. And it's also a position that rarely gets rotated throughout the games. And maybe that's because of the personnel, as you just mentioned, because Crystal Dunn was there and you're not taking her off for anything. And now Emily Fox slots in. You're doing everything in your power to keep them on the pitch for 90 plus minutes a game.